The MP for Botany, Jami-Lee Ross, says he's given his proxy vote in Parliament to his former party, National. He tweeted that he appreciated the messages of support he's got recently and said he was grateful for the care he received at Middlemore Hospital. He says he remains on leave based on medical advice. I spoke to Otago University law professor Andrew Geddis and asked him why Jami-Lee Ross would give his vote to a party he's been expelled from.
Jami-Lee Ross has always said that he's a National Party man at heart. He claims his problem is with those who are currently in the leadership of National rather than with the party itself. So I suppose from his point of view, he thinks of himself as a National Party MP in all but name, so why wouldn't he vote for them?
Technically, though, who gets to decide how his vote is used?
Well, having offered his proxy, it's then for the National Party to decide whether to use it or not. That'll be a call for the National Party whip, so when the votes are called, it'll be up to them to decide whether they want to announce Jami-Lee Ross's vote alongside their own.
Does it make sense when this is a man who's kind of pitching himself as an independent, who is going to speak truth to the National Party, as he's previously said, to hand his vote back to them?
That's a good question, probably for Jami-Lee Ross. As I say, his claim the whole way through has been that he remains loyal to the National Party as an institution. It's just there are people within it, he says, are doing wrong things. So once again, I mean, from his point of view, how else would he vote in the House if not alongside the party he says he believes in?
Do you see any master plan here? Anything more complicated than this?
Well, it does appear the way that he's worded his letter that he's trying to say that by voting with National he won't be distorting the proportionality of Parliament. Of course, that's the trigger that exists under the party hopping law that would enable the National Party to kick him out of the House. So one thing he might be trying to do is avoid having National use that law to kick him out. Unfortunately, this won't work because the Supreme Court has said that under the party-hopping law, it's not how you vote that counts, it's whether you are a member of the party or not. The very fact he's not a National Party MP costs National things like money in the House. It also costs them seats in select committees and so on. And so those things in themselves are enough to use under the party-hopping law, irrespective of how he votes.
So none of this would prevent the National Party from saying, OK, we've said we wouldn't use it, but now we're going to. We're going to invoke the waka jumping legislation and kick you to touch. None of this would prevent that from happening.
That's right. Under the Supreme Court's judgment on the previous iteration of this law, there's still grounds for National to use that law to kick Jami-Lee Ross out if they want to. Now, of course, they campaign very strongly against the law, so the real thing that's preventing them from using it is the political cost of appearing to go back on their word.
So if he decides it's a mistake then and doesn't achieve what he wants to, what's the process for getting it back? Is it just kind of like flicking a switch and instantaneously the vote's mine again?
Yes, he can remove his proxy at any time. I mean, it's his vote to decide how to be used. What he said at the moment is, I give it to National to decide how to use. If he changes his mind, he just tells them, look, I want it back, and then he can cast it. Of course, to cast it, he'd have to be actually in the House himself. Now, when that will happen, we just don't know.
So, until he turns up, back for work, he can't use it anyway?
So he can't use it himself unless he's actually in the chamber to cast it.